So today, we're going to talk about Saad Ur Rehman, who you probably know as Ducky Bhai. He's one of the biggest YouTubers in Pakistan, and his story is, well, it's a wild one. We're talking about a sudden arrest, a massive scandal, and a comeback that got absolutely everyone talking.
I mean, that's really the question at the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? This is a story about fame, about justice, and about what happens when the online world slams headfirst into the cold, hard reality of the law.
Okay, let's get right into it. To really understand the shockwave this sent, you have to see just how fast everything flipped upside down. It literally all started with a totally normal day that turned into a national headline overnight. Now, for those of you who might not be familiar, Ducky Bhai is a huge deal. With over 9 million subscribers, he's an absolute titan in the Pakistani social media world. Famous for his roasting videos and his gaming streams, he's a household name, a family man married to another influencer, and basically at the top of his game. Just look at how quickly this all went south. On August 16th, he's just having a regular day with his family. Less than 24 hours later, boom, August 17th, he's detained at the Lahore airport trying to catch a flight. And the charge they hit him with? It was a serious one. Money laundering.
All right, so this is where the story takes a really dark and disturbing turn. After his arrest, Ducky Bhai claims that what he went through in custody was a complete nightmare, filled with abuse and corruption.
In his big comeback video, he painted this absolutely harrowing picture. He says he was taken to the National Cybercrime Investigation Agency headquarters, and that's where he faced verbal humiliation, constant threats, and even physical abuse. He said he felt like he was just a pawn in a game, a high-profile target they wanted to make an example of. And then there's the money. We're talking a staggering amount. On top of the mental and physical abuse, Ducky alleges that officials extorted over $300,000 from him and his family. That's more than 8 crore in Pakistani rupees. It's an insane figure.
So let's be crystal clear here. This isn't just a claim about being treated badly. Ducky Bhai is flat out accusing the very people meant to enforce the law of a major crime, extortion.
So after he was released, Ducky just vanished. He went completely dark on the internet. For more than 3 months, his millions of fans were just left with rumors and guessing. And then, after 100 days, he was back with a video ready to tell his side of the story. And this was the question on everybody's lips. If what happened was so terrible, why stay quiet for so long? Well, his explanation was a mix of being strategic and, frankly, just trying to protect himself. He basically laid out 3 main reasons. First, he said he wanted to respect the legal process and not mess anything up. Second, he was genuinely scared that if he spoke out too soon, it would just bring more trouble down on him. And third, he just needed time to heal from what he called the mental, emotional, and psychological torture he and his family went through. Now, in that same video, he also issued this public apology. But this is a really important point. It was not an admission of guilt for money laundering. No way. He was saying sorry for any negative impact his content might have had, like promoting certain apps to his audience. And just like that, with one video hitting millions of screens, this thing exploded. It stopped being just one creator's personal nightmare and tapped into a nerve for the entire country, kicking off a huge conversation about justice, power, and who we hold accountable. And man, the public reaction was split right down the middle. On one side, you had this massive wave of support. The hashtag Justice for Ducky was trending for days. Even his rivals, like Shah Madris, came out to support him. But on the other side, some journalists called him out for cracking jokes in his comeback vlog, questioning whether his tone really matched the seriousness of his claims. Okay, and here's a piece of context that is absolutely key to this whole story. Ducky's allegations didn't just come out of nowhere. Right around the same time, 5 officials from the exact same agency were jailed in a completely separate bribery case. So for a lot of people, that news made Ducky's story sound a whole lot more believable. So when you really peel back the layers here, this whole thing forces us to look at some much bigger issues. It brings up questions about how accountable creators should be, the state of Pakistan's cybercrime laws, the potential for corruption, and of course, the incredible power of social media to shape public opinion about justice. And that's pretty much how Ducky framed it himself. He said, this wasn't just my story.
He sees what happened to him as a wake-up call for the entire system, and really for anyone with a platform and influence online.
And that really leaves us with one final kind of uncomfortable thought. This whole saga just blurs the lines between entertainment, celebrity, and the justice system. It makes you ask, when one person's story can expose such deep cracks in the systems we're all supposed to trust, what does that really say about those systems in the first place?